Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BikeSocial and welcome to the 2022 Isle of Man TT preview. Yes, the TT is back. We've had 2 years without it. We've all missed it. But joining me in this video to talk about the new rules and regs and broadcasting and who's going to do well on which bikes and which classes are two chaps that have got 28 wins between them and a lap record.
Hey!
And here they are. Please welcome John McGuinness and Peter Hickman, our Bennetts and BikeSocial ambassadors. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. So TT 2022, we're back finally. Thank goodness. First of all, let's start with a few sort of fast, fun facts. I'll call them fun, that's up for debate. John, when was your first visit to the Isle of Man? Ever?
1972 or something.
That's the year I was born. 50 years ago.
The trash talk started already.
So that's one straight in the knackers immediately. 82, when I was 10. 1982, yeah. 10-year-old.
Was it for the TT?
It was actually for the Derby road races. Mm-hmm. My dad was actually racing in an event called the Derby Roads, but it's always just before the TT and when TT practice just started. So I watched my dad race, watched some TT practice, blown away by it, as you can imagine. 10-year-old looking through some like ropes and whatever down braille. I was like, we were these gladiators, and then we always had to go home as well, so it was proper kicking and screaming on the old back of the ferry to on the way back to school. So yeah, 10 years old watching my dad. So yeah.
Pete, what about yourself? When did you first go?
I was -5 when you went there.
Another low blow.
It's the only thing I've got on him really, his age. My first experience, I was actually only 1 year old, so I think it was 88.
You don't remember that then?
No, I don't remember that. I might have been when I was 2, actually, when my dad was there with the JPS Nortons, the Rotaries at the time. Obviously, I can't remember any of that. So I didn't actually go back until I was watching John in 2013, actually, at the TT. So I listened to it a lot, watched it on TV, on all the highlight channels and all that, but I didn't actually go to the Isle of Man until 2013 as an adult. Yeah, I went to the TT.
You made your debut in 14, didn't you?
Yeah, so really 13 was kind of... I didn't actually even go with the idea of racing. I just wanted to go and experience it and enjoy it. And then my mistake was I rode a bike round and thought, this is awesome. I can do this.
What's your first race at TT then? Or was it
14.
What was it, your first road race?
Northwest that year.
Northwest 14.
Yeah, so I literally did Northwest and then went straight to the TT.
So what happened in 13? You went there and thought,
I like this.
I remember some of that. Because you weren't really for the TT, were you?
No, I wasn't. No, I hadn't been for a long time, and I'd been asked about it. Paul Phillips had asked me to come along years before, and I was like, nah, it's not for me. I'm not really interested. And then, went in 13 and really enjoyed it. Actually, I understood more of the track than what I thought I did because I played the PlayStation a lot as a kid, and I knew the game. I actually knew a lot of the circuit, so the old original PlayStation game.
Not very good at maths. I'm just trying to work out how old he was. 88 was what? Was it 8, 9? Yeah. What were you?
I was 27.
27. Good age. I think it's a good age.
Yeah, and I'd had a lot of bike experience. So I'd raced in British Superbikes in the championship for 10 years or so. So a lot of big bike experience as well. So either from stockers or Superbikes.
I was 25. Just turned 25.
I think you've matured enough, haven't you? I think we've had this conversation before about 17, 18-year-olds going to the TT is not really the right thing in any of our opinions. I think anyone who's got some good experience.
I'm on the same page as you. Just it might open a can of worms up, but I think you should be at least 21-year-old till you're going down Braille on any sub. I mean, I'm thinking Glen Irwin on a superbike, 230 horsepower, first time down Braille.
If you look at
I went on 250 and I just served my time that way. You know, I learnt my trade on the smaller, slower bikes, and before I built up onto that. So
was that your first ever race? Was on the 250?
Yeah, 1996. 250 Honda. I had one bike as well, so I didn't really want to get involved in jumping on this, jumping on that. I just went with a 250 that I've been riding week in, week out at British Championship, and yeah, tough week.
Where did you finish? Did you finish?
Yeah, I finished 15th in the race. Tough week though. I'll tell you, the weather was crap the whole of practice week. Not many people got many laps, but it's selfishly the sun come out on race day. I rode the bike. It was mint. Finished the race, got a bronze replica. But there were 2 other newcomers as well that year. One was Bruce Anstey and one was David Jeffries. So, between us, there's 40 odd TT wins. So. It was a good year. Hard year was 96 to be a newcomer, but a good year, I suppose.
Do you remember your lap time, your best lap time?
111.82, I'm going to guess. It was 111.8 something. I might be wrong with the two.
Incredible memory for the facts and figures, haven't you?
Yeah, I was number 18. I was number 71 in practice, and they moved me up. I was number 71. I made a late entry, to be fair. I made an entry after the Northwest, in between the Northwest and the TT. And at that time, they sort of, we'll give you an entry, and they give me a real high start number, and I got 350 quid off the Mike Aylward Foundation. I got a free boat, and that was me. 7.5 ton truck. It had a half fitted out Wickes kitchen in the back, and that was it. 7.5 ton Tufnell's green van, but I didn't care. I was on the ferry, and what I had in the back was basically a good bike. It was a new 250 Honda that Paul Bird provided, which, you need some good tackle when you got to TT. You can't just rock up with something that's dropping to bits, So my van were dropping to bits, but my bike was good, and that's all I needed, the tools to do the job. Anyway, we've come off your question.
We've
got a long way out.
We're all over the place.
We could have deviated so far on the 80.
It's your job. I'm asking the questions here. It's your job.
Go on, Pete. It's 2014. What was the first closed road lap like for you? What were you on?
Good. Yeah, similar story actually to John. Not a 250, but I took the one bike because I didn't want to jump between different bikes, and I think again that kind of comes with the experience or maturity more. 27 years of age, I'd ridden a lot of big bikes, I'd ridden a lot of super bikes. I took a super stock bike, so I actually took a step down in bike so that the bike was easy for me to ride. So all I had to learn really was the track. Yeah, so I did, my first lap was actually 109 mile an hour average, was my first ever lap. My second was 115 flat. Which is, I never even thought about it at the time. I asked the team not to tell me what lap times I was doing. I literally didn't want to know. I was just like, just keep filling the bike with fuel and let me go round and round. So 109, 115, I came in. I then managed to get one more lap in. I did 115.1 standing start with a short lap. So I was up fairly quick, up to pace fairly quickly. The next day, I think 117 and then 119.6 I did on my fifth ever lap, which is nearly 120 mile an hour, which is mad really thinking back. But I think, again, been riding big bikes for years and years and years. The bike didn't scare me, the track didn't really scare me. I've never really struggled with the road furniture or anything. It's never something that's really entered my head, and I've always learned tracks quick. So
it took me 13 years to do my first 120 mile an
hour. Bike's a bit different nowadays, though, isn't it? I mean, even from
that was on a 500, yeah.
Well, from then to now, so like that was 194 horse that super stock bike, and now the super stock bikes are pushing out near.
So weather into you got good weather, didn't you? Through practice, a lot sits on the weather. If you can put a reasonably safe handling, reliable bike and the weather's good, you'll have got 20-30 laps in, would you? Maybe
33 laps I did.
33 laps, before the race, so that's a good start.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so 33 laps was including the races. So my final lap was 33 laps. And
you're the fastest newcomer, weren't you?
Yeah, still am at the minute.
Yeah,
might not be after this year. Things have moved on a lot. Tyres, bikes.
He's up for it. He's up for it. My teammate's up for it.
He's put some good homework in, hasn't he? I mean, he's impressed.
I'm trying to rein him in.
Yeah,
I'm trying to rein him in.
And he'll need a bit of reining in. Glenn's brilliant. He's a fantastic rider. He's a good kid. He just needs to use his head. That's it. He's got the speed. He's got the bike. He understands it. He's ridden it for the last 2 years. It's his third year in the team. He knows the job. He just needs to not scare himself, and he'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. And that lap record, lap records are what they are. They'll always go. But as a newcomer record, he will absolutely piss it, no problem at all, I'm sure.
We'll move on to 2022 proper in a minute. But I'll ask an obvious question that I'm sure you've been asked 100 million times before for the both of you. I know if I'm on a circuit, whether go-karting or on a favourite stretch of road on my way into work or whatever it is, there's always a bit where I look forward to. What about the TT circuit for you both, John?
I mean, loads of it's epic to ride, loads of it's exciting, thrilling, scary. It's difficult to pick one bit out. I mean, I have my own corner, not trying to blow wind up my ass, but it's really, really special to have your own corner, and a lot of times it's, you have a corner when you're gone, which is nice to be able to choose a corner while I'm still here. And I go towards it every time, and I just steam through it. It's weird, sort of a weird place to pick, and I had the opportunity to choose a corner. I chose that one straight. It was the first thing that come into my mind, and when I won my first TT in '99, I passed I like old Owen McNally through there. Just on the exit, and I just carried a little bit more speed and just passed him on the exit there, and I passed Adrian Archibald through there when I won my first Superbike race. So they just little memories jump out really. So, but there's loads of it that's well, I suppose that's my favourite bit really.
Pete, have you got anywhere that you particularly enjoy riding?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, isn't it? The whole place is amazing. It's a bit like being asked what's your favourite section. I haven't really got one, but if I had to choose, I think Kurt Michael's the place that I would choose. It feels illegal racing through there at 175 mile an hour, and I like it.
Which bit in the middle though? When it narrows in,
yeah.
Or just that.
You know when you go, is it the mitre on the right hand side? I don't even know the name of it,
So
but
the
when you run
bumpy
through
off
there
camber.
and then you drop through and then through the dip, it's just ace. And then actually the big S's at the end, I don't know what it's called, but it's just
But it's unnamed, isn't it?
just before Rencullen. Yeah, there's like, is it unnamed? That big left, right,
It's
left.
like double yellow line, double yellow line, double yellow line.
Yeah.
There's a manhole that you have to hit.
That's it.
But it's physical through there.
It's really
you
physical,
have
but-
to manhandle it through there.
I love it. I think it's absolutely ace. And in fifth gear at 170 mile an hour.
And
plus,
you use the gutter on the left, but I always tell Clark of the course, I get the marshals to sweep that. You know that
Yeah,
always
just to get rid of the crap off.
Absolutely, because if anything's dropped off back of a builder's van,
Yeah,
and then it
it'll be
nails
in
or
there.
like that, it's going to be in there. So I'm like, just make sure the marshals, because we're right in that gutter, aren't we?
Yeah,
To
we
open up the right and the
Rencullen.
left, yeah.
And you can stand on the right there as well, can't you? There's like a big wall.
I can't wait. So I won't be riding much longer. Then I'll just be stood there with a can of beer in my hand watching you lunatics go around. But I watched these two in that last lap of the 18 senior. So I was still, my leg wasn't right, and I was at Aggo's Leap in the garden there, and I was like, it was something special. And if you know, you know. You know, you've been on the bike, you know what it's like. And I knew where you were on the track. I'm looking at my phone on the sectors and thinking they're going through there. You know, and some guy was in my ear all muttering away. And I was like, you're just about to witness something really special. This is building up to like something insane. I knew it was. Helicopter was coming, then they came through. I was like, so to watch is off the charts as well. So quite looking forward to being able to. I'll still have riding, but it'd be nice to not have that. Feel like I've got 10 bags of cement on my shoulders and be on the track myself.
That's all your money, not cement.
Need a wheelbarrow for that. I haven't got any left anymore. It's all gone.
Spent it all.
What about your least favourite, John? You mentioned fairly recently to me, you're not particularly fond of that bit from Ramsey Hairpin up to Gooseneck.
I mean, it's quite a long section. It's quite an important section as well. But Mayhill, Whitegate, Stalamaris, Hairpin, the two rides. It's not. You've got to be strong through there to put on a fast lap, but not really my favourite bit. And you know, if I throw in bits, the scariest bits, Braille, lap 1, lap 3, lap 5. You know, when you fill it up with fuel and put a new bad tyre in, you know, your arse is definitely pinching when you go down there, because you just, I don't care who you are, what you are, you do not really know how the bike's going to react when it starts going off some of them little steps. You know, you think you've sort of got it by the horns, so that's pretty scary. But yeah, I mean, I don't like the Ramsey Hairpin area, but there you go. Not that I don't like it, it's just my least favourite bit.
Yeah.
But even my least favourite bit's still quite a nice bit to ride.
Pete, same?
No, mine would be after Conker Trees, actually. So I love the bit up to Conker Trees, even through all the bumps from Ginger Hall. But after the Conker Trees, there's this really horrible right-hander that is probably the bumpiest corner on the track, I would say. And it's you have to do a really unusual line to miss as many bumps as possible, which took me, well, I figured it out in my first year, but it took me a while, and I hated going through it at the time. But that right to the next left, I always think is a little bit not my favourite.
It's got a name, hasn't it? It begins with an M. What's that? The right?
I'm not sure.
The brick wall on the
Well, it's
inside.
just before Milltown.
Milltown.
Yeah,
That's what I was
just
thinking.
it's
but
before Milltown. So Milltown's an awesome corner, which is just
Yeah.
after. But I'm on about you literally come over the top of Conker Trees, K Tree, the next right to the left.
It's just sort of a long, hanging, bumpy
Yeah.
radius, right? And doesn't matter if you're 2 foot here, 1 foot there, 6 inch there. You're finding bumps. There isn't.
It's just
you're
horrible.
saying you could do telling me where the smooth line is through there, because I don't know where it is. And it always feels a bit vague on the front, and then it's weird. You go around the next left, and you go over this little rise which unsettles the bike. Then it's resurfaced, so it's like.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth for all
Yeah,
of
then
about
as
half
you
a
go around the
second.
right with Milltown, it's back into the bumpy section again. So it's
I always prefer it when I've come
Hard
past
as
that
well.
section. I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
probably the best way of saying it. Is like
You sort of land and
I'm
go
happy.
through the right
Yeah,
and
go. Okay,
Yeah.
we're all right now.
deep breath, you know.
So we talk about 2022 then. So we've had a couple of years off. You must be absolutely gagging to get out there. Pete, Have you done any laps at all, course car or hire car?
Not many at all, no. So I didn't even go back until about 2.5 months ago, which is when we did the Gas Monkey launch. So up until that point, I hadn't been back at all. Obviously, it's going to be 3 years by the time we actually get to go down there. Yeah, I can't wait, as I'm sure we're all the same. For John, it's almost been longer, hasn't it, really? 19 didn't even really happen for him, so, you know, it's been a long time. So, no, I think, yeah, we're all looking forward to it. We just can't wait to get back. I have done a few laps since. We had the TT launch a couple of weeks ago. Managed kind of a lap and a half, really, not too much. But there's a lot of new tarmac about, which is interesting. There's a load of trees been taken out. Is it Iron Gates? Is that where that is?
Glentrammon,
Glentrammon, that's it.
Glentrammon, yeah. Looks very different, doesn't it?
Yeah,
actually, it looks faster.
Yeah, it looks faster, but it can't be. But it just looks.
There's no hardware around the outside. Yeah, they've resurfaced into Quarter Bridge, resurfaced 11th milestone. Yeah. There's bits of it still look tired. But, you know, still looks like it. But it always does. You know, when you go around it, when the TT comes, they've painted all the curves. All of a sudden, it becomes alive and a racetrack again. And I don't particularly think the track's any faster. I mean, you know, you can ride over bumps fast. It's just uncomfortable. You can still go over them fast. I mean, you might make a couple of tenths maybe up towards.
Yeah, it'd be nothing though.
Nothing. 11th milestone's resurfaced, but it won't be any faster.
White Gate, Stella Barris, that kind of area's been done.
It has, but like Peter was saying, it's smoother, but I don't think it's going to be. It might be a tenth, maybe a couple of half a second faster, maybe, but overall there'll be somewhere else that's
worse.
Yeah, worse or something. So, am I looking forward to it? Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Am I a bit nervous? Yes, I'm a bit nervous. I've done 99 starts, my 100 starts coming up, you know, and I do get a bit twitchy. I always have done. A bit apprehensive. New bikes, you know, Honda's not been there, the BM's not been there, the Kawasaki's not been there, the Yamahas are involved now, so loads of little curveballs, loads of interesting stories. You know, we're all chomping at the bit, and, you know, it's funny that a lot of the conversations come up, oh, you'll be all right because you've got the most experience, but you watch, when that flag drops, Sunday, is it? We start practice now Sunday, there'll be no messing about. These lot will be rattling 130s out on first night. I'm absolutely positive of that. So there's nowhere to hide anymore. The top guys are on it. But for me, it's just a case of, you know, getting back there and riding and enjoying it. You know, am I going to beat him? Probably not. But, you know, I've nothing left to prove anymore. I just want to go on, like I say, 17 injured, 18 injured, 19 disaster, you know, flipping nightmare, you know. So
it's going to be an emotional time, isn't it? I think with your 50th birthday, the 30th anniversary of Fireblade.
How old?
50 plus that. Do you know what? Like I say, it's weird. It's like building up as well. You know what I mean? It's building up, and there isn't a day goes by that you don't think about the TT or racing in general. You know, you don't phone someone. Have you got this? Blah blah. You know, it's constant, and whoever you talk to, it's, you know, how's your leg? Are you looking forward to it? You know, I broke my leg 5 years ago. TT, but it's driven into you all the time. So sometimes the fun gets taken out of it. A lot of the times, you know, when you do that and you shut the visor on your bike, that's the great bit. You know, some of it's, well, you know, run your own team. I'm trying to put a 600 team together. It's not easy, you know. There's a lot. You don't just rock up at TT, pull some bikes out of the back of a van and start flying around there. There's a lot to be done. But I feel like I'm back in the old slippers again, back with Honda. You know, been loving the Superstock Championship. You know, I finished 21st at Alton Park, but, you know, a lot of you could be disappointed, but I went faster than ever gone around there on a stocker, and, you know, the kids are going to run you over for 20th place, and, you know, I'm probably giving 25 years on some of them and 4 stone on some of them, so, you know, I'm not, at 50-year-old, it's hard to be in that class, but, like I say, I think I've ticked all the boxes and ready to go down Braille again.
Pete, you've done plenty of TTs on your BMW, on the S1000RR. You've got the M1000RR now, which we've been running for a season, but of course it's not run on the roads yet. Does that concern you? Worry you?
Nah, not really. I mean,
do you get involved with the team in terms of its development from what it is now in BSB to what it becomes on the TT?
Yeah, kind of more of them kind of asking what my opinion is, what I would like or not like. You know, from an electronic point of view or from a build point of view. But to be honest, the team, they already know their stuff. So we had a plan. Whether that actually comes out, I don't know. Parts have been a nightmare across the world for everything. It's been tough actually. So you know, the worst case scenario is I've got a BSB bike sat there. We'll put some Dunlop tyres on it and go round and round. But no, I'm not worried about running the M at all. I think the bike's fantastic. We have done a fantastic job in the British Superbike Championship last year with it. Already fast again at Silverstone and Alton Park, my fastest ever lap of the Alton Park track at the weekend. So, I feel like I'm in a good position in myself. Bike feels good. Get back on the road.
Which bike will you pull out the van? Pull out the van. Will you get on first? First night of practice.
A good question, really. I don't know. Probably the big bike, probably the super bike. It's the one I ride the most. Get your scares out of the way early.
I'm always one for that.
Yeah, I think just
straight away. You're not going. You think, oh, I'll have a go on it tomorrow. I'll go on my 600 and that. But you can't get away from it. At some stage, you've got to get your leg over the big old girl and give yourself a fright.
It helps if you've done the Northwest as well. Obviously, we've got the Northwest beforehand, and if the weather's good at the Northwest, then you're up to speed already. It's not so bad. It's when you have a rubbish Northwest or you don't go to the Northwest and then go to the TT, it's a little bit more difficult. And for myself, I've got British Superbike here at Donington Park, actually, in between the Northwest and the TT. So not ideal, but kind of almost slowing myself down again to come here and then go fast again at TT. But I'm sure we'll be all right.
So you've got one bike for senior and superbike. You've got another bike for super stock. What are you running? Super Sport, Super Twins?
Sport, I've got the K2 Trooper Triumph, the 765, so the new Evo class. Or not class, but it's in with the Super Sport bikes. And then lightweight is more than likely going to be an Aprilia now. So, which I'm trying to get ready for next week at the Northwest. So we'll find out on Tuesday. It's turning up here about now as a road bike. So I've got 2 days. So we've got 2 days at PHR to turn it around into a race bike. So we'll see. Lastminute.com.
That's always the same though in racing. We have months and months and months to sort it, and you're still putting stickers on, aren't you?
Yeah.
2 minutes before the session.
John, same for you. So your first time out on the Fireblade in sort of in its current guise in road racing form will be at the Northwest presumably, and then you've got a same you've got senior and superbike. And then you've got super stock.
Yeah.
And then you've already talked about running your own 600.
Yeah, I'm going to run my own 600 Honda. Just
the new one?
Yeah, the new one thing. Yeah, it's got wings on it. It's got wings. It looks factory. Yeah, we had to get it. Hard to source some parts for it, but we've got one. And to be fair, that is all we've got. I've got no spare engine or nothing, so it all goes wrong. Yeah, the Honda don't want to run a 600, and I want the track time, and there's millions of ways of like explaining it. First night's practice, it's wet somewhere and Gary doesn't let us out on our big bikes, but he lets you go on your 600s, and I haven't got one. I'm going to be pulling my hair out. So, and to be fair, it's a bit of a family, friends, old sponsors, loyal friends, loyal sponsors who have just put a bit of money in the pot, to be fair, and it's just sort of wiping its mouth really to go racing. So, and it's a bit like the Ducati Cup thing last 2 years. I know it's only a small thing, but I was quite proud of our little team. My son was on the spanners, the wife was doing a bit of cooking. And it's how it used to be. It was fun, so. We're gonna just run it like that, and whether the bike's good enough, I don't know. But I'll just go out and do my best on it, and wherever we finish is where we finish. And the nice thing about it, there isn't any pressure on me for that one. But yeah, the superbike's awesome. I rode it at Castle Coombe, the 2-day test on it. Loved it, really loved it. Really got back into that groove and the slicks and the bigger brakes and suspension, and just felt really, really nice. And been doing some stocker as well. So. Yeah, it's all nice. Number one as well, so at least if I'm slow, I'll still get on the telly, won't I? So that'll be all right.
Speaking of telly, there's quite a lot of changes for 2022, and I don't suppose a bigger parc fermé and larger pit boxes will affect you that much, but the sort of the fan involvement from your book selling and t-shirt selling capabilities. There's obviously a much bigger audience around. Yeah, gin, yeah.
Both got.
We're having a gin war.
There's a much bigger audience that are going to be attracted to the TT this year. We've already spoken to Paul Phillips on an earlier episode, and he's talking about the geography of the TT being so much more attractive around the world, much bigger audiences, more fans hopefully, bigger access. Does that kind of thing play on your mind? Do you worry? Does that concern you? Are you all up for? I mean, you both likeable, personable guys, and in any paddock, you can
I'm up
see
for it.
Boys.
I'm definitely up for it.
There's
not any sort of PR we can do and can push. I'll embrace it. To be fair, like I say, I'm the older one, and I need to sharpen my pencil up a little bit with all these apps and all this sort of stuff. But I'm hearing £14 to have
$14.99 for 2 weeks.
It's
It's
a
live
pound a day.
TT. It's ridiculous.
Isn't it a fantastic value?
I think it's awesome. Yeah, when you think about what Netflix costs or Amazon Prime or whatever it may be,
or even that the pass for Dorna for MotoGP.
But I mean, you're only going to be able to get so many on the island, aren't you? But if they can watch it in a million homes all over the world, and they can access it for 15 quid. I don't think that's a bad thing. There's still a lot of people. We're all wrapped up in it, but there's still a lot of people don't really understand it. But if you can get them to understand it, they'll embrace it. I don't know, I've been watching a few of them daft things on YouTube, and people have been introduced to the TT and like, hey man, what's this? And they're watching, this is crazy, But anybody who sees it are going to want to see it, aren't they? Bigger boats next year. Hopefully we'll get some more people on the island. But, this bit for us hasn't changed. If you can have a camera when Glenn Irwin takes his helmet off for the first time after 2 laps, that's worth $14.99 of anybody's money.
I'll pay 15 quid.
You'll have to put extra subtitles on.
But that's gold. It's gold.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I remember James Hillier bawling his eyes out in the 2015 senior. I said, okay. He said, I can't believe we've just done that. I can't believe that's even legal. What we've just done for an hour and 45 minutes. So if you can just capture that moment. I mean, we've all seen a camera at bottom of Braille. We've all seen a Balaf bridge or something like that. But we've got to embrace it as riders and take it all on as well, and try and drive it forward. If we get some outside sponsors in, it comes back down the line, then we're all up for that, aren't we? So
and being able to see the whole race, like obviously we've only ever seen highlights. So now you're actually going to be able to watch the live race. All right, it's going to be delayed by 30 seconds or whatever it is that the normal TV delay is. But you're actually going to be able to watch an hour and 45 minutes of TT as it is live. Yeah. I think that's just epic.
Yeah. Not only that, but you get all the build-up, haven't you?
Yeah,
all the stuff on the grid beforehand and nervous guys and pre-chat.
It's cool stuff, like the governor comes up in his car and they play the Manx national anthem. And still a little bit of tradition there, And I know the scoreboard's gone and things like that are a bit frustrating, but we have to go forward. Yeah. We have to look at it on our phones or whatever you want to call them. You'll tell me.
Got to get with the time.
Yeah, you have.
Got to move forward.
And people eventually will love it because
people don't like change. No, people don't like
once
change.
they get used to the change, it'll be brilliant. The new pundits, the new commentators, and Cameron in there, and loads of different angles all the way through the race. It'll be mint. It will be good. Let's just hope the internet don't go down. I might just have a boo. That'll be it. Everything will be going.
The race.
But I'm sure there'll be a radio, an analog radio. You can still.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
We were talking earlier about age and
never mentioned it.
you look at the top 10, 11, 12 guys on the grid, and everyone's 33 and above. I think something like that.
Prime age.
Is it all about experience?
Mid-30s is your prime age, I think, for the TT. I mean, you can do it. I mean, I won at 40. Well, 7 years ago, what's that? 43, 44. I felt as strong as ever, I really did. There's no feel the age at all. Hutch is older than he looks. Yeah. Hutch is 42, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Man's superhuman, what he's been through. But like, Hilly isn't that age, you're that age, mid-30s. Dave O. Johnson, a few others, but Davey Todd will be a dark horse. Connor Cummins is mid-30s.
Davy's been really strong, actually. In Superstock and BSB, he's been...
Well, I was going to ask, who's the next generation? Other than Davey Todd?
I don't know. There's
Adam McLean, maybe. Yeah. There's that young Jim Hines.
Yeah, he got a podium, didn't he, at the Classic a few years ago.
I mean, he's a boy. He looks like a 12-year-old. Have you seen him? Yeah. He's like a little kid. He's 19 or something. He's got years ahead of him, what I mean? Just be patient. Is that
the advice?
Let all those lot retire. It's hard to give advice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's hard to give advice, you can't... You're in a vulnerable bit. For 1 or 2 or 3 years, you're a bit vulnerable. You think you've got it all figured out, but... then big bats will give you a warning.
Yeah, they do, Still do now.
Yeah, they're like, well, I'm in charge here, you know what I mean? So... But, I don't know, let's just hope they keep coming. The younger guys keep coming, because it needs them.
Do you think that's part of the attraction with the whole broadcast thing and the attraction to the wider audience? Do you think it will bring not only more spectators but more competitors?
Yeah, possibly so. From a global point of view, at least. I mean, we already have quite a lot of nationalities come over to race in the TT, don't we? But yeah, the more people we reach, or the more people TT reaches, the better it is for everyone. And as long as we can keep the guys coming through. And as John says, keeping them safe, especially when they're in that vulnerable period of the first 2 or 3 years, it's it's a big thing. You got to keep your head down, keep your feet on the ground. While he's with Glenn all this year. You know,
I think COVID's calmed him down. I think that second kid's calmed him down. You know, little things like that. I think it was probably a little bit too early pre-COVID.
Yeah, because it was his first year on the Fireblade anyway, wasn't it? First year with Honda, and he was expected to do the TT.
There was a lot at the time. He was a bit highly strung. I spent time with him, and he's not like he's not doing it because he wants to earn a quick buck or whatever. He's actually studying it like you wouldn't believe, and in a lot of ways maybe overstudying it. I'm like, right, just ride the motorbike now. Yeah. You know, don't get too involved. You know, just concentrate on what you're doing with your BSB, and then step by step, small steps. But great position. Yeah. Under a lot more pressure. When I went there in '96, there were no social media. There were no, you know, you just all turned up and, you know, you had a few friends around you that would give you a little bit of advice. I mean, now they take you around with Milky and Johnny Barton, and, you know, I did a lot with Philip McCallan. You can imagine what that was like. Fucking hell, this is fucking flat out. This is flat out. I learned nothing. Just sat in a bus with like 30 newcomers from all over the world. I was like, what is this? But you get more and more one-to-one now. So, and all the onboards and the YouTubes and all that. They weren't. I mean, I watched Joey Dunlop's video from 1983, V for Victory. I must have watched a million laps of that. But I don't know. It's if you want to do it, you'll do it, and it will always bring people. You know, maybe it's due another Aussie in there, another Cameron or something like that. But I mean, I suppose Davo's in there. But you know, Kiwis, not like flipping Bruce was fantastic for years, you know. So
Bruce is not racing this year, right?
No, don't think so. No,
he's not.
Is he in the Classic?
I believe so. I tell you what, Bruce is on good form. I speak to Bruce a bit, and Clive talks about Bruce, and he's got to an age where, you know, he's 52 or something like that. He's obviously had his ups and downs with his health, and, you know, he says himself he's not strong enough, and you know, you got to respect the guy for that. The bloke's won 11 TTs, and I've ridden wheel to wheel with Bruce around the Isle of Man, and there isn't a greater rider or anybody who'll give you as much pleasure and joy to ride with than somebody like Bruce. You know, he's done things on there that's blown me away when I've been a decent short circuit front BSB runner, and he's passed me in places and I think that's not possible. But looked super safe, you know, great rider. A lot of respect for Bruce.
A lot of the most recent TTs, 18, 19, it's all been about yourself and Dean Harrison. He's when we talk about rivals and the proper competition out there for the big prizes, is Dean the obvious one to choose?
Yeah, I think he is, really. I mean, I think you've just only got to look at what we're doing in British Superbikes. Dean's the closest that he's been to me, even now. You know, he's got every weekend he seems to just come that little step closer again, another step closer again, and there's that age-old thing between what's, you know, TT riders, BSB riders, and who's faster, what's faster, blah 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 blah. But you know, circuit riding is harder than what people give it credit for, and Dean knows that full well, and he's been hard at it. He's been working really hard at it. And if you look at the positions don't always actually reflect the speed. Like, it's very easy to look at a result sheet and go, oh, they're in 20th or 15th or wherever they are, and think nothing of it. But actually, you know, even at Alton Park, he was within a second and a half of the front bunch. If you're on
the TT track like you do a 34 around the Alton Park, you're not going to last very long. You know,
you wouldn't be sat here now, yeah. And it's a different style of riding anyway. So, I mean, I've tried to explain it before. It is difficult to do. It's the same but different. One way of describing it is whatever handed you are at writing, write with your other hand. It's the same, but it's different. You know, the principle exactly the same. The way you ride a bike is the same, but you do it in a different way. And for me, the TT has always been more relaxed. It's a more relaxed way of riding. You're not racing against somebody else. You're racing yourself and the track. And then big, fast corners you approach differently anyway. You go to Thruxton, and you ride it different to how you ride Brands Hatch or Alton Park or wherever, you know, because it's big, fast, open corners, and the TT is mainly big, fast, open corners. So it's just a different style of riding.
Do you have to recalibrate your brain, or do you just naturally fall into, right, we're on the roads now, right, it's the mountain course?
Going from short circuit to TT I find pretty easy. Going from TT back to short circuit, like I'm going to go from TT this year to Knockhill, so I'm going from probably the biggest track in the world to the shortest track in the world. It's hard. It's really, really hard. It's difficult. I've done that twice before already, gone from TT to Knockhill. It's difficult to retune your brain. It takes about a day and a half at least to get back into the swing of things. So I keep letting the brake off. That's the biggest problem. Your brain's up to 200 mile an hour. Brake into turn one and think, oh, I'm going too slow. So you let go of the brake, and then you get to the corner and realise you're doing 50 mile an hour more than you should be. That seems to be always what happens. And I do it every year, and I still can't stop myself from letting go of the brake because you're so used to the speed. You think you're going too slow, so you just keep letting go of the brake all the time. But you get there. It just does take a day or two to get yourself back into the short circuits.
If we can touch a little bit more on some of your competitors, perhaps from the top 10, Michael Dunlop's had a bit of a spanner thrown in his works, or vice versa. Anyone know what's going on there?
I don't know. I mean,
no idea.
Look, you've got me at 1. God knows what's going to happen. Number 2, Harrison, Winnow, Sharpie. He's under the radar. You're a bit more in the hat, gas monkey, blah, blah, blah. He's coming in,
Yeah.
And the nice thing is he's swapped tyre brands as well, so he might be a little bit closer. I like Dean, he's come through, he's from the bottom club racer. I went through a different route, did some Irish short circuit, road racing, then got different route to you. 3's Rutter. What can you say about Rutter? 50-year-old, tons and tons of experience. You never know what he could do, you never know. Number 4's Hutchie on his day. He's been around 133 plus mile an hour. He's not a million miles from where you guys are. If everything falls into place for him, he could be strong. Number 5's Hillier, isn't it?
Is Hillier 5?
Hillier's 5. Yeah. So won't meet a nicer bloke in the world.
Yeah.
Safe as anything.
On the
Yamaha.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Yeah.
6 is Dunlop again.
Yeah, you never know. Which
19 wins
yeah,
for a youngster. He's got 19 wins. So.
Yeah, and how old's Michael now? He's younger.
He's younger than us.
Yeah.
Not younger than me.
No, he's younger than me. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd been in his 20s. Still in his 20s.
I think he's 29 or 30. Yeah, I'm sure.
With 19 wins. So I respect him for walking away from that thing in a lot of ways. When you speak to him, it wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't happy, was he?
Yeah. So
obviously.
why?
Yeah.
Walk away.
Why do it if you're not happy?
Away.
Don't bother.
Walk away. Yeah. Number 7, you got Gaz Johnson. Number 8 is
Davey. Davy's on number 8.
Davey Todd, the new breed. Number
Fireblade.
9. Blade. Yeah. Number 9 is
Johnson.
David Johnson.
I don't know how he is after all.
Yeah. He said he'll be fit for the TT, but not for Northwest.
Some fella at number 10, don't know who he is. Connor's at 11. Yeah, it's just
a lot of experience.
They're all different characters. All different. We're all quirky individuals. We all want the same thing. We're all a lot of experience around us. Great bikes. You can build a TT winning bike yourself. Years ago, you'd need a factory team around you, but now you can build a BMW.
The stock bikes are good, aren't they? Yeah, stock bikes are really good.
Yeah. Recently, it's been family teams that have won TTs, like the BMW team with the Smith team, wasn't it? And then Clarissa's team with the with the car racing. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, they've been family-run teams,
different
not
things,
factory
Padgetts,
teams.
You know what I mean? So it's just poised. The whole thing's just fucking mega poised.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'll give you a shout in about 3 weeks and tell you how it all went.
Then you'll tell us your predictions.
Yeah. I actually wrote some predictions down. And did you do it? Not in the Isle of Man?
No, I didn't
Did you not do it?
No.
Did they give you that quiz, that senior winners, right back to?
No.
Well, I got a piece of paper and I just predicted all you guys' speeds. It'll be quite interesting how far away I am. So they're going to unwrap that after the TT.
Oh, you put it in an envelope and then.
Yeah. No, it's quite cool.
Like
not results, just because you could.
Yeah.
You could do 136 and break that last lap.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Fascinating to talk to you both. Thank you for your insight. I could sit here for the rest of the afternoon just listening to you two. Frankly, I'll put my microphone down and just listen in. Boys, good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. If you've got any predictions, if you've got any questions for these two, let us know in the comments section below. Enjoy the TT. Get your 15 quid out. It's going to be worth every single penny, I promise you. We'll see you soon. few
So you've
questions.
got your script there,
I have,
Michael.
yeah, a
Well,
few questions. Yeah, you can.
There's a lot of questions on there going on. Could be here a while.
All right, you make your own questions up. I'll go and have a cup of tea.
My gin's better than his.
Yeah?
I don't know.
There's
Probably
only,
not.
there's only one way to find out.
Gin fight.
It was my idea first.